Genesee River runs through the heart of Rochester. On the west side of the city, the river runs through a place called Northampton Park.
A couple of hunters that were out in the area, underneath this culvert, they observed a body in the water.
It was a female. She was in her 20s. There were no obvious marks of trauma, knife, bullets, anything along those lines.
At the autopsy, around the neck area, they observed bruising, some damage around her throat area, hemorrhaging of the veins in the eyes. So the cause of death, she was strangled to death. So the victim was later identified as Dorothy Blackburn.
So here you had a woman, she just had a baby, a 6-month-old, who she left with a neighbor. She never came back to pick up her child. So then that's when the family became especially concerned.
Dorothy Blackburn was last seen here along Lyle Avenue on March 15th. Police say it's an area frequented by prostitutes.
Every city has a place of ill repute, and Lyle Avenue was it. A John could have killed Dorothy Blackburn. A drug dealer could have killed her that she owed money to. So initially, it was anyone's guess how she was murdered or who killed her.
We've had calls at that station saying, there's a man murdering prostitutes out there. Should Rochester be worried?
Police put the tactical unit out on the street to interview prostitutes about suspicious individuals.
We had people of interest. I can't really call them suspects. There's probably 150 of them. And each one of these, and you'd have to go through, look at all their background, look at their records. It was incredible, the amount of work that was going on.
The possibility that a serial killer was operating on the streets of Rochester came to the forefront. Papers started running bylines.
These women were found along the Genesee River, thus giving him the name of the Genesee River Killer.
Women working in the Lyle area were very conscious of the fact that certain people who they had seen were no longer on the streets.
We tried the best of our ability to tell them that there was a danger.
I can remember when I was little, we were out traveling somewhere. We drove by the city jail, and I looked, and I just had a feeling inside it landed inside there.
He told me it wasn't a very loving relationship between him and his mother. Because she was very domineering, controlling. Always criticized him. And his mother would ridicule him in front of the family. His own family would laugh at him. He was like the odd man out.
Imagine as a child the amount of shame that you feel. And what that could mean is that you are trying to please someone that cannot be pleased.
There were really no caring parental figures in his life. Without any of those positive qualities, it creates an opposite picture as to how a young boy is supposed to evolve.
I was a hellraiser. You know, we were always in fights. I didn't have no playmates other than my sister and brother and cousins.
Nobody understood him. All the kids in school called him Oddie Oddball because of his peculiar behavior. He would talk baby talk. He wasn't a normal kid.
things happened in my house, our house, when I was 4, 7, 9, between my mother and my aunt, and being isolated, way out in the country. What was I to know? You know? It's hard to talk about.
He said it started with the aunt reaching into his pants. Then the same thing happened with his mother.
Being molested sexually by older family members, mother, aunt, he's going to either feel incapable of having a normal love relationship with a woman, or go in the opposite direction and be very domineering. Some people have a question mark over it. Arthur Shawcross having been sexually abused. Well, my initial assessment after speaking with him was that I believe that they did happen and that they contributed to his destabilization.
Was he making up some things? Maybe he elaborated and embellished the story a little bit just to get that attention.
Arthur's ability to lie, this becomes a pattern, you know, where there is fabrication. It's a way to sort of distance himself from the reality of a situation. So at 27, after serving a few years in prison for arson, he moves to Watertown, New York, the place where he grew up. And now he has to re-enter society. He goes to a local area for fishing, and there he meets a 10-year-old boy named Jack. Arthur's first murder of 10-year-old Jack could be seen as a precursor for his later murders of sex workers, because these are individuals that were weaker than him, that he could dominate. He is released and moves to Rochester, New York, and this became his playground.
They continued to interrogate him, showing him pictures of the deceased women, and he starts dealing them out.
He went through each and every one of them and gave his account of how he killed each one of them.
You meet a prostitute on the street, you know, it's like a kid in a candy store, right?
He's using his bare hands to strangle them. Not only is this intimate, but this shows his absolute rage. He is seeing the life go out of their eyes.
After I admitted to the 11, it was like a big weight fell off me. And then one detective asked me, if you had to do it over again, what would you do? I said, I'd put them all in one hole and you'd never find them.